Hello, and welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos Fathomless, D&D Podcast set in the world of Fierlor. I'm your Dungeon Master Darby, and joining me as always are Eddie playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, Mitch playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, Joe playing Alton, Laura playing 𝗔𝗦𝗧, Jake playing Fishman, Emily playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, and Zoe playing Loren. Let's jump into it. So, where we last left off, the party, the crew of the Polaris, reached 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 and went into the city to deal with various things. Fishman and 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 stumbled upon 𝗖𝗔𝗧 and Loren on the docks, where there was a bit of a conversation about accelerating plans for an exchange of information to the late afternoon, early evening. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 went to debrief with the heads of the Hydra command, while Alton had a conversation with an old friend. So, let's start with 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, and Fishman. What would the three of you be doing after having left your conversation with Loren and 𝗖𝗔𝗧?
So Rue would have been pretty quiet, like after presumably either Fishman or 𝗖𝗧 would lead away from their favourite pals. But then, like after a couple of beats, Rue would be like,
"So you said you were friends with those people?"
Generally to 𝗖𝗧 and Fishman.
Friends is a strong term.
Yes, well, it is quite strange. I mean, you didn't seem to want to spend time with them.
No, I did not. To catch you up to speed, when we were sailing to your island, they attacked us.
Oh.
Tried to take over our ship, and we dealt with the problem, and they now owe us a favor.
Is that normal of all of your friends?
It is not. It is most assuredly not. I can tell you that right now with no sense of hesitation.
I see.
Perhaps you're not familiar with the meaning, but when I do this, and he does the air fingers again, it means it's not quite exactly what I'm saying.
Yes, no, is it called that a euphemism? I think I misinterpreted what sort of euphemism it was.
Oh, so when I went friends, what did you think?
Well, I thought, friends in bed, that sort of thing.
No. No.
Oh, my apologies.
Absolutely not.
Sorry, I made some assumptions there. So instead the quotation marks mean friends that we don't even like really that much. Is that more accurate? Or friends who have killed us or tried to kill us. Is that more accurate than friends with benefits?
I believe you're getting there. Yes, on the right track, I say.
Would you like an apple? For my
it's all
era.
yours. It's all yours.
Thank you.
I think just until you grasp the intricacies of this particular language, whenever you see that symbol, just assume whatever information is encompassed in that symbol is incorrect, and it means something else.
Sarcasm, then?
Could be. It could just anything else. It does not. All you know is that that symbol means it is not what is encompassed in that signal. That is the only thing that you know. And you need to understand the person that is giving you that signal.
Yes.
So that you understand what the word encompassed in that signal actually means.
For audio listeners, that signal is air quotes.
Yeah. And for any passerbys, these two men are like crowding around, just doing air fingers. Or what's it called? What are they called again?
Air quotes. Air quotes.
Air
just
quotes.
Around everyone.
Air quotes. What's air fingers like?
Rue's just like nodding at both of them. Like,
I see. Well, then the natural thing there is that I should learn a bit more about both of you so that I can better interpret that symbol.
which he does with like very exaggerated big fingers, but like all his fingers, not just the air quotes fingers.
That was very good.
Thank you. Well, may I suggest then, if you two were local to this area, why don't you show me where your favorite places are? That way I'll get to know you two a bit better.
I think that is actually a very smart idea.
Yes, and then I can interpret your sarcasm or otherwise better. How does that sound?
Great to me. However, mine might take a bit to get to.
Oh. Well,
What time of day is it at the moment?
Probably early afternoon.
Yes, I believe we'll have to wait until later this afternoon, closer to sunset, for me at least.
of course. That can be easily arranged. I have all the time in the world. Neris, then, where is your favorite place? We should go there together.
Oh, I mean, I have I don't know about a favorite place, but there are a couple of places which I frequent whenever I am in town.
Oh, well, I'd love to see them. I think it would be a good experiment, of course, so I understand your humor and sarcasm better.
Yeah, yes. Of course. Okay.
Amber just kind of like bounces a little bit on like their heels, and just kind of like looks around like a little bird would, like just surveying their surroundings, and then looks back down at Fish, not too far back down at Fishman, and a little bit further down at Neris, with like bright eyes.
Well,
if you want to, please follow me.
of course.
Rue kind of like just bounces cheerfully along as much as a 7-foot-tall person can. Meanwhile, Hammer's just like doing his absolute best to just like seek out every smell. And like, again, even though like the rope seems to be just like straining to that degree of like that would give someone a little bit of stress, Ham doesn't stray too far. But yes, Ham is also just as bouncy, except perhaps a little bit more excited about potential food, which for a bullet is everything. But yeah, we will go along. This little trio.
Neris would take the two of them to two places. The first one would be probably to the center of the town or close to the center of the town. It's a very large building, the town's opera house, or the large theater that they have. I'm not sure exactly how it looks.
It's a bizarre shape from the outset. It's almost got like this almost like a polyhedral centerpiece. Almost like D12 like. So pentagonal surfaces with a couple of smaller offshoots around the edges. And a kind of almost awning-like structure over the top.
What strange architecture!
Indeed, this is the opera theatre of Anchorthea. It is a place where one can go and experience emotions and feel and breathe life and death.
Really?
From the comfort of your own seat.
This sounds like an incredible place. Feel and breathe and experience emotions. That's very interesting. And this is all contained within this strange pentagonal shape. This building. That's incredible.
Yes, but there are many very talented individuals who are adept at expressing these emotions that they feel through a story that they present to you, and it is less of reading a book as giving you a variety of experiences and emotions and passion, and you are able to just lose yourself in this life that is being presented to you.
That sounds wonderful.
And Rue is like looking very excitedly between like Nereus and Fishman and then back at like the theatre, like, oh, genuinely very excited about this. Eyes shining quite brightly.
Do you come here often then? To experience these feelings?
Not as often as I would like, but enough. I find the theatre is somewhere where you can really just sort of just exist without any sort of preconceived notion of why you need to be. You just be.
That sounds incredibly wonderful. I should very much like to experience this. This is a wonderful place to share. Thank you for showing us it.
You're most welcome. I'm not sure if there is a performance when we are here, but if there is, I'm sure it would be an interesting experience for you.
I would very much appreciate to do this. Is there a dress code?
Technically, yes. It is normally a formal sort of attire, but that is not required. It is not written anywhere.
I see. I do find clothing very interesting. There was not much imported upon Acheron. But my mentor was quite fond of bright colours.
Well, perhaps we can find something for you here.
He looked excited before. Now he looks even more like.
Neris halts slightly at this throwaway comment that has now turned into a very real thing that he now needs to follow up on.
Oh no, commitments.
Anyway, the other place that I go to is just down the road.
Of course, we shall go and investigate. Fishman, have you been to the opera before? Or the theatre?
Would not be able to say, unfortunately. Can't say I have, but I feel like I have now after hearing what you had to say.
It was very
incredible.
evocative.
I could almost feel it just through hearing you describe it. You have quite a gift for that, actually.
Thank you very much. I should state as well, so you do not have any preconceived notions. It is not an experience for everyone. It is a time commitment, and you are required to observe the story for a lengthy period of time.
It's like an experiment then. How exciting! Sounds even better.
Indeed, you are watching a group of people conduct an experiment, and you are there to learn and make note of how that experiment makes you feel.
Ham, I'm going to go to the theatre.
And the Rue like kind of straightens up as they incline towards Ham and just looks really cheerful.
How exciting! Where is the next place?
It is just only a few minutes down the road. And Neris is going to lead these two down to this little dingy kind of like hole in the wall shop that is a place that sells magic accessories and magic and magic supplies, if you will.
Yes, the tidy Cerberus.
Tidy Cerberus,
Oh,
yes.
that's cute.
Yeah, so it's there are a few magical supply shops around. You're aware of this, but there is only one in Uncathir that deals with the sale of magical items with any sort of regularity. So you enter and see the figure of 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 Fane, darker skinned woman, appears to be to be descended from native 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, and she greets you curtly. Curtly, is that right? But simply, Neris.
𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧.
Who is your new friend, may I ask?
This is Rule Friday. They are accompanying us on the Polaris for the time being.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
This is 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, owner of the Tidy Cerberus.
Is there anything that you are wishing to procure today, Neris?
I am simply having a browse. Have you had any new items since I have last been in?
I've had a few, actually. I have one in particular that might be of interest to you, though it is on the expensive side. And she produces this brass disc of articulated concentric rings, and she presses into the center of it, and it pops open, unfolding into an armillary sphere. It's maybe a bit flamboyant for your tastes, but this, believe it or not, functions much like a spell book. It is particularly suited to the divinatory magic that you practice.
Oh. Well, that is quite fancy. He sort of looks at how shiny it is, and there's just a little, like, in like an anime, how like thoughts are like little word bubbles that just kind of float around. Just the word panache just kind of like pops up and floats behind Neris's head, and he kind of shudders a little bit. Well, that is definitely quite interesting. What extra functions does it have for divining magics?
Well, let me look this up.
I will say in the background, Ham is looking very interested around all the things in this shop.
Oh, we need to leave.
And Rue's kind of just cautious to try to just distract him. And so now Ham is instead looking at at Fishman and like anything he's got on him, like any hip bags or anything like that, just eyeing him very beadily, remembering the Fishman's initial attempt at approaching it.
Okay.
That's what Ham is doing in the background.
So it has some spells included in it that are already inscribed into it. But on top of that, it has 3 charges that can be used for 3 charges that it regains some of each day. Can use a charge to spend a minute and replace one of your prepared spells with another spell known, though the new spell must be of the divination school. And when a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can use your reaction to expend 1 charge and force the creature to roll a d4 and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty to the original roll. You can do this after you see the roll, but before its effects are applied.
That is quite a powerful artifact.
This is one of the more valuable things in my collection at the moment.
Of course, and I'm sure it deserves to be. Is there anything else exciting that has appeared in this shop?
Something a little more esoteric. She produces a writhing crystal steeped in some sort of warped essence, purple in hue, and looks very strange. This is a shard of the far realm. It has benefits to those whose magic is innate.
Interesting. What sort of benefits are you referring to?
I don't know whether they'd necessarily be of use to you, but if you know a sorcerer, it makes some changes. When they make use of their uncanny knack for altering the way that their spells would typically function, they can render some small sliver of insanity momentarily to an enemy, frightening them. So basically, mechanically, creature must succeed on a charisma saving throw against your spell, save DC, or take psychic damage and become frightened of you until the start of your next turn. But it does require attunement by a sorcerer.
Well, that is quite the item. Neris sort of stops for a moment and kind of thinks, like squints, and you can see his eyes kind of flicking a couple of times. Not that it would be of any benefit to me. At least not innately. How much is that second item?
It is 800 gold.
Interesting. Not that I would use it, but I'm sure that I would come across someone who would. And just being able to buy that so that one individual could not would almost be reward in itself.
Interesting. On the lower end of the scale, I have a few other knickknacks. So you see like it's a golden signet ring with a depiction of a rabbit's foot, an antiquated cone-shaped hat adorned with gold crescent moons and stars, a brass helmet with an aquamarine gem placed in the center of the brow, small metal medal with a raised depiction of a shell on it, a brown satchel with a golden clasp bearing an infinity symbol, a clear bottle that appears empty, a brooch resembling a pair of shields, a blue chest with a silver-white latch, an earring fashioned from three earrings fashioned from a small blue crystal wrapped with a delicate copper wire, a forest green quiver with an intricate golden filigree on both ends, a thick book bound in dark leather, crisscrossed with inlaid silver lines suggesting a map or chart, a sword fashioned from the horn of a crystal dragon, and a small token resembling a feather.
What's that chest?
The
little chest.
The blue chest with silver white lat. This is a chest of preserving. Basically, it's an ice box, an esky kind of thing.
Well, that would actually be very beneficial.
So food and perishable items do not age or decay while inside it. 2.5 feet long, 1.5 feet wide, and 1 foot tall, with a half-barrel lid.
That particular item, how much is that one?
It is only a simple enchantment. It is 20 gold.
Oh. Very well. I'd very much like to purchase that item along with some magical ink.
Yes. Any other supplies while you're here?
I do not believe so. I'm actually in. I'm looking for a new quill. If you have one, the ones that I've been using is it's getting a little bit worn down, and while I have just been replacing the nib, I would like a new one.
I will have to ask around. I'm fresh out of quills, unfortunately. But ink I can do.
Perfectly fine. Of course.
I do have some nibs, if you would like, while...
it is okay. I do have... the last nibs that I have is freshly added, so that will combine for a while. I just wanted to come here and see if you had any before I go to the other stores around town that I know have them.
Of course.
But yes, I will purchase some ink and the icebox.
All right. How much value of ink would you like to purchase?
Well, how much is it for a spell as well? Because it's to inscribe a spell. I just can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Is double. It's 50 gold per level of spell.
Cool. Well, we'll just get 100 gold worth.
All right. So that is 120 gold between the ink and the chest.
Wonderful. Neris takes 100 out of his personal funds and 20 from the Polaris funds for the chest.
Yeah. All right. The Fishman, Rue, anything that piques either of your interests?
No, not particularly. I'm just perusing at the moment, having a look.
All right.
I must say, this is a very beautiful shop. Do you sell any potions of any kind? That would fortify the body.
I don't have
or
many
heal injury
at the moment, but I think I might have just one potion of healing left.
I would very much like to obtain that, if I may.
All right. That will run you 50 gold.
Thank you. I will take that. And I am also very interested in that little pendant with the feather on it. It looks like home. Yes. Would I be able to inquire as to how much that might be too?
The feather token is 400 gold.
Perhaps I will reconsider, but the potion very much. I would like that, please.
All right. And you pay the 50 gold. She hands over the potion.
Rue's eyes kind of flicker just momentarily when the fee of the feather token is mentioned, and they nod.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, what exactly does the feather token do?
So, let me double check. I feel like there's a difference between this and a other very similarly named thing. So the feather token this is what is this one? Yeah. So this one is double check. So this one, using this token, you can toss it into the air, and it will produce a simulacra of a rock bird for a period of time.
Is that of interest to you, Rue?
I have never met a rock. I just like the look of the pendant.
Rock is akin to a giant eagle.
Oh, I can probably find a feather somewhere else, outside on the ground, and that will look just as nice. No offense.
Understood. Right.
Fair enough.
Right.
And then, yeah, he'll go back to perusing.
Yeah. All right. Tibble, was there anything you were doing out and about before meeting back up?
So Tibble, he, after leaving the chambers of the Hydra, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure my cat doesn't tangle in the cords that are hanging around for recording. Tibble would most likely, I think he'd probably wanted to market only to get a couple of small gifts for Kara, like trinket-like things, little mementos, just things she would like, nothing of real sort of import, and then would return back to the ship. When he does return to the ship, he does make his way down to where the kitchens are, where Kara is. And when he goes to enter the kitchen, she looks up when she hears him come in. Her eyes widen and she kind of rushes up to him and like is shaking her hands, and then signs at him out of the kitchen now. And he rapidly signs back at her, and he's like, his eyes go wide, and he's like, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Is something dangerous happening? And she's like, no, you just can't be in here. And Tibble looks very confused for a moment and very slowly signs, okay. And presents from a bag that he has with him a bouquet of small wildflowers that he would have got at the markets, as well as like a nice there would most likely be a nice like locally brewed perfume in there, and just a few like trinkets that she might like. So a couple of like leathers that tie into vial holders for the different vials and bottles that she keeps on her, and just a few decorative things, a nice small simple bracelet, and he presents them to her, and she takes them all under consideration. Sorry, someone is being very curious. She takes them all under consideration and looks up at him. And sorry, if any of the visual viewers notice a change in my lighting, it is because my cat is deciding to stand directly in front of my light in the most distracting manner possible. Get down, please. Thank you.
Well, my cat is in front of my camera 90% of the time.
We're a cat-friendly podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, so Kara looks over the things, and she she looks up at Tibble unimpressed and signs, I still don't forgive you for the big dog. And he just, he wraps his arm around like her legs or around her waist, because he'd probably be able to reach up there, and like just gives her a side hug. And then as he pulls back, he signs, "I know, love." I know. And that's what Tibble does. And he's back at the ship for the rest of the afternoon.
There is a moment where Neris will shoot a message to Tibble, just informing him, essentially just that the Phoenix did arrive early. They are requesting a meeting in the afternoon. If you are available, let me know, and I'll set up a meeting in 2 hours' time.
So Neris would get the response, "Aye, lad, I'll be available. Just let me know the place."
Same place as previously arranged.
Perfect. I'll meet you there. And that's it. So, yeah. Eventually, when that time comes around, Tibble would make his way over there.
All right. Alton, you are taken through the trade district by your friend. What was the name again?
Liuhan.
Liuhan. Yes. And eventually ending up at a store with a sign out the front, right at the edge of the gem fields, the wealthy district of the city, with a sign out the front saying "Treasures of Time."
Excellent. Alton's kind of looking kind of stressed, kind of like running his hand through his hair, but he's clamping down on it. It's just like, hey, nice looking place.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, you really made it for yourself here, huh? That sounded more sarcastic than I meant.
Well, when you spend so much time as having to work out the value of goods yourself, the antique business makes a lot of sense as a calling. It's the best place for the transferable skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Then I hope you're upping the price for all those rich bastards.
Oh, of course. Of course. Great thing about antiques, they were made so long ago that the overhead is massive, but no one cares.
Yeah. No, it's a good business to get into. Glad you're doing well. Well, go ahead. Give me a good old tour.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he gives you a tour of the shop, and yeah, there's all kinds of things here. Most of them seemingly Iali in make. Though there's the occasional Navoran or Iridian artifact. One or two Karasi in nature.
Excellent.
But yeah.
Did Alton find any little metal gadgets or anything? Little machinery things?
Not so much in the way of gadgetry.
Yeah.
That doesn't tend to be. Roll me an investigation check.
Sure. Oh no. Pretty sure I just have a +1. Yeah, that's a 6.
Okay. There's like a rusted, or partly rusted, shelled, like kind of like a wind-up toy kind of thing.
Oh, nice. Alton kind of like picks it up and like has a little look at it, trying to like visualize what the parts inside will be like and if they're in good condition. Yeah, tosses it from hand to hand. Nice. He has a look around the store to see if there's any other customers there.
Not at the moment, no.
Excellent. Sorry to get you out of the store. It's good to get a bit of contact, though. Goodness.
Always good to use what you can.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what you did for me, helping me get away and getting me a good job, a well-paying job. Wild. Hate to be in your debt. I probably owe you some money from gambling in the past anyway. Yeah, take it. And he will reach into his boot and start counting out coins and count out 100 gold coins.
Okay. Oh. Well, thanks, kid. Yes. More than I ever expected to get back.
I mean, that's a very good trait of yours, actually. I think the reason we get along is because you've never once tried to stab me for any of my gambling debts. Really appreciate that in a person. You haven't even, as far as I know, you haven't even put salt in my drinks or anything either.
No salt.
Oh, I hope you didn't put anything else in.
No. Nothing in the drinks, or the food, or anything. No need for revenge.
Alton eyes him suspiciously for a moment, and then just kind of shakes it off. So, while I'm here, last few questions if you'll humour me.
Of course. Fire away.
Well. No, actually, there was a question I came here to ask you, but it's not as much as important anymore. But does the name the Sin Seekers ring a bell? I swear I've heard it before, but I don't know what it means.
Sin Seekers, you say?
Yeah. Group that kidnapped someone on our crew?
I can't say, it does ring a bell. I can't say I know too much about it, but I think something about some rumor about some devil worshippers or something, some such thing going around with, at the very least, some sort of similar name.
Oh, fucking great. Lovely. It's always something.
That could just be pure rumor. Especially with a name like the Sin Seekers.
I'm surprised with my luck. Here I was, I thought the name was, I don't know, something risque. Sounds like it. Great. Might be some devil worshippers. Wonderful.
Hardly be the worst you've dealt with.
Yeah. True that. And let's hope. Well, Janus may rest in wherever he is. I would rather this whole thing, he stays where he is and this whole thing stays away from us. Can keep on the crew as we are. Right.
Yeah. Of course, can't be worse than those.
I guess I'll.
Can't be worse than those Aras worshippers you dealt with in 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Well, they're all the same ilk, aren't they? It's all.
True, there's not much difference between a devil and a usurper at the end of the day, is there?
Absolutely. Anyone who gets too into people up there.
Just different flavors of
same
shit.
effects. Yes, absolutely. Once again, his mood has very much soured. He just kind of like thunks the little wind up gadget back into its place. Right. Sorry to have such a negative meeting. Just thinking for his word in common for a moment. I'm here for another 2 days if you wanted to catch up for some drinks or something, a game or two. But I might leave you to the store now.
Right. I'll see you out at least.
Yes, actually. One more question.
Yeah.
You haven't heard anything about the clinic, have you?
No, not a thing. Not of late.
That's expected. All right, then. I'll head out and try not to get recognized. He heads to the door.
Yeah. As you open the door, can you just roll me I believe it is a dexterity saving throw?
Okay. Oh, that's a 10.
10. So you light up with various colored lights surrounding you, almost creating a sort of aura of green and blue light.
I could just whip around and be like, "Who did that? What's going on?" Fuck.
I'm sorry, kid. Nothing personal. Just needed the clean slate.
You little shit.
And we're gonna cut to Tibble meeting up eventually with Neris, Rue, Fishman, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, and Loren. So you find yourself in probably again the Proud Gentleman. It's a nice little tavern that's well decorated, but not overly elaborate in its way. Quite possibly why Neris would have nominated it.
So Tibble probably arrives 10-15 minutes out from the arranged meeting time. When he enters the cafe, is there anyone else who has arrived that earlier or who would have? Or not really?
Loren would have.
And Neris would have.
The captain is not there yet.
So 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, I suppose, as he arrives, would that roughly be around the same time you two are arriving, or would he come to just the most uncomfortable seated party that he could imagine?
I don't know about Neris, but Loren would already be sitting. She already has a fantasy lemon lime and bitters, and she has her feet kicked up on the chair opposite her. And she's just leaning back. Her staff is hooked over the back of her chair. And she's doing that thing where she's not drinking, she's just holding her glass in an intimidating manner. And when 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 walks in, she doesn't, like, look over. She tilts her head fully back over her shoulder and goes, "Captain?" And does a little wink and then just sits back up and waits.
Neris would probably be walking back from the bar, I guess, with an empty teacup and a pot of brewing green tea. And he'll come back. Captain, welcome.
Ah, wonderful. I was worried I was a bit too early. I suppose we are still waiting on, our special captain friend.
She's a busy woman. Don't worry. She'll get here when she gets here. She'll be on time. She always is. She just has some business to attend to. Or multiple businesses, one after the other. A couple at the same time, potentially.
I'm sure she's a mighty busy lass.
You don't know the half of it. And Loren is not being smug in that moment. There is a thread of absolute weariness in that tone. And then she just kind of smiles again. He goes, "Do you want a seat, Neris?"
I'd love a seat if you would like to remove your feet from the furniture.
Just without blinking, she moves her feet to the next seat and kicks the original one towards him. And then goes, "Captain," and offers one at the head of the table.
If I may, and I could be reading things entirely wrong here, but you two don't like each other much, do you?
I don't know what you mean. Neris and I are the best of friends. I think we really bonded when I struck him with lightning.
I will admit, Loren did become one of my favorite people when I charmed her into not talking or interacting in any possible way.
I will give him that one. I'll cop it.
Okay, I think I need to be a little more clear. I do not understand the interactions between the two of you. So, if you truly do find each other companionable, I may need some further understanding as to why you both enjoy what otherwise appears to be quite antagonistic.
I'll take this one, Loren. So, Captain, I understand there are some interactions which you do not... you get an idea of, and then you sort of run with that one. This is not an idea to be running with. I should have actually had this one before today. There are no air quotes associated with this relationship at all. It's not...
So you are friends then?
I don't know what is happening here.
That's what you both said. I'm just trying to understand because you don't act like friends.
Let me clarify for you, Captain Clover.
Please.
Neris hates my guts. I find it very fun to poke him with the proverbial stick because I enjoy annoying people around me.
Perfect. That's what I thought I read, but then everything you said was the complete opposite. So I'm just trying to establish here what the dynamic was, but that I can work with. Loren, try to play nice. And Neris, I know. I get it. We'll be back on the ship soon.
Captain.
Anyway, shall we be seated?
Without saying a word, Loren sits up straight and takes her feet off the chair and just looks so shitty. Just looks so pissy.
Neris also, once the captain sits down, will sit opposite Loren and also look mildly miffed.
So Tibble will sort of wave over one of the wait staff at the cafe, and he's like, "Can I get a what's good here?"
It depends on what you like. Personally, I don't drink alcohol, but they make a real mean mocktail.
The green tea is particularly good, as Neris is pouring green tea into the teacup with one hand and has taken a little flask out and is pouring that in with the other hand. Puts the flask back.
We also have an array of fine spirits direct from Vertex Fermentary.
Right. Portside Cafe. Yes, apologies. It's been a while since I've been here. I think it's changed ownership a couple of times within the time that I've sailed between ports. I meant more like food and non-alcoholic drinks, but I suppose I'll take a whiskey, 2 fingers, and yeah, and also a cup of tea, not of the green variety.
Right up.
Loren leans over to Neris. Does he mean 2 of his fingers of whiskey or 2 of theirs? Because if he means 2 of theirs, he's about to get fucked up.
Neris nods and doesn't respond, but in his head he finds it very weird that he was thinking of the exact same question.
And also, just if I can trouble you, lass, for a couple of additional cushions for this chair, just so I can be on eye level with me companions.
Of course.
Wonderful. Much obliged. A high chair for the young'uns will do, if you have one.
All right.
As this is happening, Loren is gonna like look around as if being like, where the fuck is my captain? And I would like to make a roll of some description to see if in looking for my captain I spot the tall duo that have been presumably hiding in a corner.
Yeah, I guess perception check.
This one. Percepzione. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay.
Sorry, but that's no match for my stealth check of 5.
Yeah.
Hilariously, I rolled myself a disadvantage because Rue is Rue, and I rolled a 19 and a 20. So for some reason, I guess Rue is just obscured by where Fishman is, specifically where you're sitting. Which I presume we're just sitting, like, I don't know, where do you think, Jake? Like just a couple of tables away? Just hiding. Rue's like got like holding a menu in front of their face. That's what I'd say. Very sneakily.
I guess you see us?
Are those your friends? Solalanti, are those your friends? And she points at them.
Those... they are the fellow crew members of the Polaris, yes.
Are they meant to be hiding? Are you ambushing us?
They're very clearly not doing a very good job.
All right. So Fishman rolled a perception check to see if they were noticed. He rolled a natural 20 for a total of 28. So, Fishman ducks. He ducks out.
Oh, what did you do that for?
Rue says, bringing the menu down, looking around.
It appears we've been had. I don't believe we can do so in stealth at the moment. Perhaps it's time we change our disguises.
Oh, yes, change disguise. What do you recommend we do?
Oh, dear.
Perhaps instead of mustache, perhaps simply just monocle.
What a good idea.
And Rue like tears off a little fake mustache that Fishman has been at the end of the beak and puts it in the drink.
Tibble turns and looks over to where one crew member and one esteemed guest are ducking under the table. And he sighs, like, Loren, would it trouble you dearly if we had 2 additional companions at this here meeting?
Frankly, the fact that neither of you walked in with the big buff ones is the concern for me. In fact, I'm still wondering where the big blonde one is.
You see, we're on shore leave, so I tend not to pester me crew.
Oh.
And however Neris got here is Neris's business. He kind of turns and he calls over his side. Rue, Fishman, come join us, please.
At least they're being polite about it.
Oh, no. That's all right. I think we did a good job, though.
Perhaps, do you think Ham gave us away?
Rue like looks down where like Ham is probably like lifted the table up closer to their side. Size just like there's just this table perched on top of Ham.
Yes, quite possibly. Don't worry, you did a very good job too, Ham. Come along.
And we join the table, I guess.
I think I have to quit the podcast.
As Fishman sits down, a monocle like falls from his eye and just like goes on the table and like does that kind of like the and like slowly just comes to a stop on the table, and there was just like dead silence during it. Appears you saw through our disguise. Well done. Pass the test. No fooling you.
Yes, very good job.
Thank you. I didn't realize I had to pass a test in order to do you all a favor.
This isn't about the favor. Life itself is a test, and this is just one of the many parts to it. You should always be prepared to be tested.
You sound like my father.
Warning. Your father sounds like a smart man.
Eh. He's a father.
Okay. I imagine it's probably not long after this point.
It is probably around now that Captain Thunderbolt strolls in. Now, she is not wearing her usual very sort of theatrical looking outfit. She's just got a simple bandana tied around her hair, a very light coat. Her shirt is quite open as she just sort of strolls in and plonks down. And anybody who looks close enough will notice she is covered in hickeys. So, here we all are.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Captain. Is there something I can refer to you as that is less formal but also doesn't give away? I'm assuming that you're, well, I mean, given your profession.
You can just call me Cerise.
Ah, a pleasure. A nicely picked name. Well, Cerise, thank you and Loren for coming to meet us. It is much appreciated.
So, what's this favor then?
Well, I believe that Neris may have informed Loren of a small detail of which, but we wish to gather information on the Sin Seekers.
And why might I have that information?
I have the feeling, given your profession and reputation, that even if this isn't information you currently possess, that you, in all of your prowess and glory, if you will, are particularly attuned to gathering this information in ways that perhaps one's flying under the banner of the Hydra, or that are more restricted by rules and regulations will not be able to. I'm hoping to gather information about them as soon as possible.
What do you know so far then?
Tibble, much like I am doing right now, pulls out a little notebook and he says, unfortunately, there's not much that I can give you, but I do know that the particular person from this organization that myself and my crew had quite unpleasant dealings with, that I won't get into at this time, was 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 the Marked. I will make it quite clear to you, Cerise, that 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is no friend of the Polaris.
Interesting, then. Have you ever heard of the pirate ship Les Demons de la Mer.
Has Tibble ever heard of this pirate ship?
I believe
He has.
Tibble hasn't. Well, I don't know. Actually.
Ooh.
Has Tibble?
Have you filled Tibble in on that particular detail?
I don't know what 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 would have mentioned to Tibble. He would have probably mentioned a few things, maybe not that particular ship. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 at this point is going to perk up. We are familiar with that vessel. What do you know of it?
Used to be captained by Ondine de la Fosse up until a year ago, when part of the crew mutinied and killed everyone except for a couple of people that agreed with their goal. And then they started calling themselves the Sin Seekers.
If I may, do you know what that goal might have been?
Not anything solid. There's a lot of rumors. Something dark, definitely. Possibly demonic, maybe abyssal even. But some sort of worship of usurper gods. No one just knows yet, but whoever their leader is said to have the power of a demon.
Do you know where they sail, generally?
I haven't come across them, not since before the ship was taken by the Sin Seekers. I've encountered De La Fosse a number of times, but can't say the same for the rest of them.
They've taken something quite dear to me.
They've taken him back, haven't they?
Tibble, he's quiet for a moment. And then he nods. I don't think I wanted to believe it at the time. But yes.
Thought I recognized him. He's a lot toothier than he was the last time.
He's a different man than he was the last time you encountered him.
Well, that does make things interesting, doesn't it?
Speaking of interesting, in that moment, you all hear from outside the sound of a gunshot and glass shattering and a commotion starting in the streets. Alton, on your end, you've just been shot at from a distance. Roll me a perception check.
Yes.
That is 19.
19. So you can see the figure of another drow on top of one of the buildings opposite. In fact, directly opposite, or as directly opposite as can be, while still being hidden, the treasures of time. So another deep elf figure. This one, he is down, laying low on the rooftop, with a what appears to be a more rifle-style gun, almost akin, like, that looks to be designed for, your best guess, distance assassination. And that's where we're going to leave it for this week.
Dun, dun, dun.
God!
Oh my gosh.
I told you.
Occurring.
I told you it'd be resolved by the end of the episode, or at least that we get, or at least we get back to it by the end of the episode.
Darby, you and I need to have a
dead.
conversation about resolution.
See you next week, everyone.
See you
Bye,
guys.
guys.
See you next week.
I don't know how we're meant to just. No, actually.
Just go like, for a moment, then cut back in. Holy crap. That's tasty as hell.
How could you do this?
Jeez. All right, I guess we cut into your meeting at the cafe.
Yeah, it will be resolved this episode.
I'm so curious.
Will it? It's 11:45.
Yeah, it's
And our scenes don't run as short as you think they do.
or at least